What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the LTQ Wrestling Podcast. Apologies if my video call is a little off. It seems like it's messing up here and there. I apologize for that. We talking about a lot of things wrestling, some returns, Triple A being a huge success in WWE, getting millions of views on YouTube. Matt Riddle talking like he usually does. Well, these comments get him a lot of heat. And Naomi announced her pregnancy. Happy for her. But who will be the next WWE Women's World Champion? We'll be talking about all that in this episode. I'm joined by QJ123B and Hollow Tears. Gentlemen, how we been doing? We ready to talk some wrestling?
Let's do it. Pretty good.
Let's see how this goes.
All right, let's get into it. So Y2J, Chris Jericho, has not been seen on AEW TV in a minute. He's on tour with Foryou right now. His deal's reportedly up at the end of the year. And the last few years have been quite up and down for Jericho. I mean, you got to give him a lot of credit, though. When AEW first started, he was really their pillar, their guy who got a lot of attention, big name, had a great AEW World title in the last few years. He's been getting a lot of criticism for his wrestling, his weight. Crowds were chanting, please retire, you can't wrestle. And maybe the writing's on the wall for Jericho and AEW. There's been a lot of reports about going back to WWE, and he's been posting on TikTok of some of his old WWE stuff. And could this just be a negotiation tactic? Possibly. But it also could be just Jericho winding down his career, wanting to retire in WWE, and maybe he just sees that as a fresh opportunity. So, Tears, I'll start with you. Do you see Jericho returning to WWE, and what would you make his role if he does end up returning there?
I can potentially see it happening. Like he's big enough of a name to like be able to be like, hey, I'm not gonna do this show anymore. I'll just go over here because I don't want to say it, but he's Jericho. He literally could like go, hey, I'm not working here anymore. So hey, can you hire me? They'll just go yes. But I don't know what he would do in WWE. I personally don't, because there's not really anything to really book him in right now that would get me excited. Maybe him versus Rollins. I don't recall too many matches between those two. But if he does and he still stays in AEW, he's just gonna the fan base is just going to get more burnt out on him because this has been a very long run for him, and usually he takes a break by now, like a longer break, so the fans could get rejuvenated and want him back. It kind of just he honestly needs to be away a lot longer. So maybe going to WWE would be best, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know how you would book him right now.
Yeah, it would be a little bit of a weird case of booking. Like, okay, you bring him back. He's 54 now. He has looked like he's lost a bunch of weight, so it looks like this breaks helped him get back into shape a little bit better. Excuse me, back into shape a little bit better. So that's going to help because he has put on a little bit of weight the last few years. For me, I would say he comes back to WWE. Everybody always seems to come back, no matter how much shit they talk about the company or they say, "Oh, I don't know if I'll ever go back there. I'm happy here." Like, stuff changes, whether it's booking or the fan reaction to you or whatever the case. And Jericho's kind of just there in AEW at this point. I'm not saying he wouldn't go back to WWE and just be there, but I feel like he would be utilized a little better at this stage in WWE. Unfortunately, WWE relies heavily on veterans. If you look at their men's division, the age, they rely on a lot of guys in their 40s and 50s right now. So they might make Jericho kind of a guy who's important. Who knows? But I do see him returning. You got so many possibilities. He probably wants to get his induction in the Hall of Fame. You got the Royal Rumble appearance. You got the retirement match. Just it kind of sells itself. So I would say most likely he returns in WWE. QJ, what do you think about Jericho potentially returning to WWE?
I could see that. I mean, it's like once you go away for a while, I know it's the pattern. A lot of wrestlers end up coming back. Now for what you could do, I don't know. I guess put some people over. I don't know, because I feel Jericho done everything when he was in WWE too, a lot. So I feel like you'll get probably ratings will go up even more higher. Oh, Jericho's back. More people will probably tune back in because everybody there for the veterans now, mainly that watch WWE. So that's mainly what you see on your screen. So yeah, I'm not surprised though. Seeing him if he's gonna return.
So I'll ask y'all this, and dude, I'll start with you. And I don't know if KO is going to be able to come back. What happens if KO and him have a program? Or maybe Kevin Owens is his retirement opponent or something. I mean, they had a huge festival of friendship. They had that going on. I really personally enjoyed that. Tears, would that be something you'd be interested in? Maybe him and Kevin Owens having something go on?
If I'm gonna have to be real, yeah, the Festival of Friendship, the KO and Jericho was amazing, but I feel like that wouldn't be in my top 5. It probably, yeah, well, it probably would be in my top 5 things to bring up, but it's just like I feel like we're looking at that whole time period with like rose tinted glasses because it was the time where KO was Universal Champion. That was great, and it was great programming. But KO, I mean, honestly, if we can somehow we're not gonna be able to finagle time. I was gonna say like have Jericho and Cena for the Cena retirement tour, like have that be a match. We could have Orton versus Jericho, which honestly, Orton and Jericho would work because those two were the two biggest heels of the early 2010s. No, or was it late 2000s, early 2010s? Those were the two biggest heels, so maybe that. Or maybe somebody new as well. I don't know. Just KO and Jericho. Doesn't feel big enough, or not big enough, but like doesn't really catch me as much as it does other people. I don't know why. So it's one of those situations where I'll be okay with it, but I'll be like, but we could have done something else.
Yeah, there's definitely like a lot of options for Jericho, like whether it's new talent or maybe old foes. QJ, would you be interested personally in a KO Jericho feud or match, or you think the time's kind of passed for that?
I wouldn't mind seeing it for one last time. They had a good pass. Other than that, I'll be interested in it. Maybe not as interested, but interested if it's like a a final match between those two. Yeah.
You'll have to see what WWE cooks up if Jericho does end up returning. There's been a lot of reports, like a lot of people in AEW expect him gone. People in WWE expect him to show up. Maybe he's a Royal Rumble entrant. So you never say never. I mean, it's definitely a high probability that he ends up back in WWE. So we'll have to see how that goes. And another name that's been, apparently wanted back in WWE is Alberto Del Rio. And a lot of people, including Roman Reigns, for what's been reported, believe he's worked his ass off. He deserves a second chance. He's changed. And a lot of people actually want him back. He's working in AAA. He worked in TNA over the years. He had some bad, stuff go on outside of wrestling with a lot of women, including Paige or Saraya. Like, he's had a very controversial past, Del Rio. Now, I do believe people can change. Maybe Del Rio's a better person. Maybe he's sober. Maybe he's learned his lesson. Who knows? But QJ, I'll start with you. Would you want to see him back in WWE despite his past? Do you feel like he's changed? What do you think about him potentially being back?
I mean, I can see people change over time. I mean, he was a good wrestler, so I don't take the time away from him. I did enjoy a lot of his matches. Uh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind him back. I get it. Everybody acts different, personal lives, but come here to watch wrestling, see them put on the show, and the character, obviously. And, yeah, wouldn't mind seeing that. Do miss the wrestling out of him a lot.
Tears, what about you? Would you mind seeing Del Rio back in WWE, or do you just not really want to see that?
it would be weird for me for a while. Because, like, I've heard all the stories of Del Rio. I've seen what kind of person he is. I'd be like, this guy has said stuff, he's done stuff, I believe he no-showed events, which is probably why I think he got stripped of a TNA title. Could be wrong. Willing to be wrong. If it happens, I will be seeing what happens, I guess. Like, just being there, like, okay, show me what's going to happen. Just let me sell me on this idea, I guess. That's the best I can say. It's just like, if you're going to do it, then you better make it worth my time to invest. That sounds horrible, but that's the best way I could put it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, there's definitely some pros and cons to it. Him back on the main roster, I mean, it's kind of like Jericho, like Terry was saying, like, what would his role be? Like, I believe he's in his late 40s now, maybe even 50 at this point. Like, I don't really know what he would bring to the table. I'm sure he can still work and everything, but I don't really know who he'd work with. WWE's really had trouble for some reason getting Hispanic stars over. Like, they've tried, but they just haven't really. I mean, Del Rio was one of the rare ones they got over. They tried with Andrade. They tried with, Santos Escobar. He hasn't really done a lot, even though I don't really feel like he's gotten a fair opportunity. But Dragon Lee, they brought him in, didn't really do a lot with him. Penta, can make an argument he could be, but their booking of him has been up and down. Like, did they bring Del Rio in to appeal to the Hispanic market more? They got AAA, which we'll talk about next. Like, you can maybe see, bring him back for this. I wouldn't hate it, but I also see why WWE be like, you know what, we don't want to deal with that. There's too much controversial there, and let's just leave that alone. But if the locker room's asking for him to come back, I do think it's a possibility he ends up being back and back on the main roster. So we'll have to see what turns out of that. I did enjoy his work in 2011. In 2010, I thought he was one of the best heels in the business that time period. So we'll see. I mean, Del Rio has a lot of baggage, but they brought back a lot of people in the past, a lot of baggage. So who knows? So, AAA, which just had a big show, Triple Mania, I believe. Almas against Microman, I believe, where it was a funny moment on social media. If any of y'all saw it, Microman's short as hell. Almas, we all know he's a giant. They were in this battle royal against each other, and it just broke social media. And it was a good show. I watched some of it. It seems like El Grande Americano is huge over there. It seems like Ludwig Kaiser's actually done a pretty good damn job with that character since Gable got injured. Dom Mysterio, there's been talk of making him AAA champion, which he's facing Vikingo at the next show, which I do think he'll win that. Styles ended up showing up and costing him. A lot of big things happened on the show. But it's been a huge success for WWE, and I do think eventually they're going to get a TV deal for this, promotion. And there's been talk of WWE purchasing TNA, and WWE is either trying to just kill the indie market or they're trying to own everything. I don't know, but AAA has been a huge success. So I'll start with you, Tears. Do you like WWE being involved with AAA, and do you see it benefiting a lot like it has so far from being with WWE because of all the global recognition it gets?
I think it's been a good thing because I'm going to be real. I did not watch anything AAA related until WWE started doing stuff with it as well, because at least there was a way for me to watch it. And like that TV deal that you mentioned is like, that would help because being able to have access to watch it would be definitely beneficial. There's only like a handful of people from AAA that I would watch, and that's between like AAA or CMLL. Like Roosh. Roosh is a big name for me to care about. Pagano, that's another big name. But other than that, it's just like, dude, I'm looking at one hand, and the amount of wrestlers from Mexico that I actually do take down to watch, it does not fill all five fingers. So them having a TV deal would actually be very beneficial.
Yeah, no doubt. And then them getting like stars like Dom Mysterio over there and AJ Styles and El Grande Americano helps them as well because people already know them and they get them, you know, more exposure. And I do think if they get a TV deal, they'll send guys like Pinto over there and Phoenix and, you know, bigger names that have also been in Mexico as well. Rey Mysterio up here on the show. And the crowd were chanting, "We want Del Rio." And he, you know, was chanting, "I'm trying to make that happen." So a lot of big names. So, QJ, what do you think about the AAA and WWE relationship? And do you think a TV deal would be beneficial for him?
Yeah, I think it'll be very good. Excited for it. More exposure. That's all we want. 'Cause a lot of these companies we watch. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's all about WWE," but if they had the exposure, you'll see why we enjoy a lot of these other companies we watch. What got them to that point. So yeah, I'm excited for it. It's been doing good though. So let's keep that rolling.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. I don't really see any negatives here. It's already been a huge success for them on YouTube. And I'm sure I've heard CW is interested in maybe getting them. They already have NXT, so why not add AAA? And TNA is actually getting close to getting a TV deal, a new TV deal as well on a better station. So it seems like WWE, whether you like them working with these companies or not, has benefited these companies tremendously. TNA is almost doing as well as AEW right now. So very impressive stuff. Hopefully it keeps benefiting. I know Conan has said, "Oh, they're not going to mess with our show, and it's still going to be AAA." I don't believe that. WWE, when they get their fingerprints on stuff, they change it to the way they want it. So we'll see how much they change. But all in all, beneficial for both sides. WWE gets to look at some other talent, and it helps out everybody. So I'm all for it. So a former WWE talent, Matt Riddle, has had a lot to say. And he said before he wants to return to WWE. He's working in MLW right now. No major company really signed him just because his drug issues, and he's been very controversial, and he's had his issues with Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, and he has a lot to say. So here's his quote on CM Punk. Quote, "That guy sucks at fighting, and he's a bitch to work with in the back. He just belly aches and complains. I've heard from my boys that still work there in WWE that he is a headache. And this isn't a storyline. This is the facts." So that's Matt Riddle. His quote is, and there's also another quote of him giving Punk a lot of credit, saying, he brings a lot of attention to the product. He's making a lot of money. Good for him. But, he didn't hold back. And, QJ, what is your reaction to Matt Riddle's comments on CM Punk?
I mean, I can get what he's saying. I mean, we know Punk can be difficult working with. Um, but gotta be careful what he say. Especially like you said, if he trying to come back. You gotta be careful with that. But I mean, he said what he had to say. But like he said, Punk is still got the merch. A lot of people came back. Been doing well while he's there. So we know what Punk could do. Other than that, besides all that though. So that's how he feels. That's how he feels.
Yeah, I mean, most kind of already know Punk's been difficult to work with. That's not really a kept secret in the wrestling business. But the thing is, if you're making a lot of money and you're a big star and you can do a lot of great things the wrestling business, a lot of people can put that to the side. If you're somebody who's a mid-carder or a jobber and you're a pain in the ass to work with, they're just sending you to the pack and out the door. And, Matt Riddle, I like Matt Riddle as a wrestler, but he's definitely a head case himself at times. I mean, he's been had a lot of interesting stuff to say. And, I appreciate the honesty, but at the same time, sometimes it's just better to keep your mouth shut, especially when you still want to be in the wrestling business. You're not really doing yourself any favors, trashing one of the top names in the business. And, even though AEW stars have had their issues with Punk, they haven't really said a lot in interviews about it just because it's just it is what it is. You kind of just want to let it pass on. But I don't see Riddle returning to WWE at all anytime soon. I mean, you never say never, but these comments just put fuel to the fire that he's not coming back anytime soon. They are not going to bring him around Punk after saying this. So, Tears, what do you think about his comments about CM Punk?
Is this the same guy who said he wants to retire Brock Lesnar and Goldberg? Because, I mean, yeah, we all know Punk is hard to work with at times. He's very vocal about that. But I'm just like, Riddle, Mr. Riddle, you know the UFC term, so I'm just going to say it once. Stop punching above your weight class. Because I'm sorry, but what brought this up? Like, Punk he just randomly has heat with Punk. Then, like, okay, where'd this come from? Why you still like this? Why you like this?
I need them two fighting at this point.
Apparently Riddle just wants to fight everybody who, at that specific moment, is like a returning veteran in WWE specifically. And I'm just like, okay, you're asking for too much, too many times. So I can't really take this whole wanting beef with Riddle serious.
Yeah, with Riddle at this point, and then he dyed his hair like pink or something. That's really hard to take, bro. Yeah, it's and then he got a porn star president, and
like, come on now, come on.
Yeah, it's he do him with his life, but listen, it's hard to take, bro. Seriously, I mean. And TKO, I believe, don't have a great relationship with Riddle either due to his UFC days. So I don't really think they're going to bring him back anyways. So, I enjoy his work, but him as a person is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I guess. So,
hey. Little out there, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely. So, final topic: Naomi announced her pregnancy on Raw. Congrats to her and Jimmy. I know they've been trying for many, many years. Naomi didn't think it was possible for her to get pregnant because she had an ovary removed and a bunch of. It's been a struggle. And I know Jim Cornette. I listened to his podcast about. He was not happy about her being pregnant as champion. Even Ricky, which when you're talking about your son having a kid, I would think you'd be a little bit more happy about it. He was not happy about it. He said it's irresponsible to get pregnant as a champion. And all this stuff. That's your daughter-in-law, dog. I don't know if you should be saying that, but hey. Whatever. But anyways, listen, same thing happened with Becky Lynch. She got pregnant when she was champion. Sometimes, it just happens. It is what it is. And Naomi, I'm sure, Trinity, the person is happy. She's been trying to have a kid forever. So, I mean, yes, it does suck at this time to get pregnant when she's champion. This could be her last world champion. And she was doing some of the best heel work. I shouldn't say worse. I don't know why I almost said that. Best heel work of her career. She's been excellent as a heel. It happens. She'll be back, hopefully. Do I think she'll ever win a women's title again? I hope she does, but I don't know. But the big question is, who should win the title next? There's a lot of possibilities. Stephanie Vaquer is guaranteed a title shot. There's been fans who have said her. Roxanne Perez has been doing some really good work. Hell, even Raquel Rodriguez has been doing some very good work. Io, Rhea, there's a lot of possibilities here. So, QJ, I'll start with you. Who do you think should be the next woman to win the women's world title after Naomi vacated the title?
Let's give it to Vicarious or, someone new. Have them have a little reign. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for Naomi, but, things happen. Hopefully she maybe get another title one after, but maybe not. But hey, what you gonna do? That's why you gotta just have other women lined up, ready to go. And we just move on from there. Hearing a lot saying they want Ripley again, but she had enough already. Let other people get their moments. Let her start putting over people.
There's definitely a lot of support for Stephanie Vaquer, which I could understand that. Tears, who do you think should be the next women's world champion if you had a choice?
Pretty interesting if it was Roxanne for the Judgment Day. For when Liv gets back, you can lead to some real fun storyline ideas there.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Roxanne just for that reason.
Yes, but for pure biasy, I'm going to say Vaquer because it would be very great to see somebody show up like this quickly and then already be world champion, that'd be pretty nice. We do get that moment, but we don't get them enough to get tired of them. And I feel like we can get away with having Vic here win it, as long as we keep the story that Rhea Ripley has never pinned Io Sky, because that's still a thing. We need to keep it going until eventual WrestleMania 101 between the two. But besides everybody who's going to be in the match, for future references, I would like to see Asuka, Kyrie, maybe Bailey once again get in the world title scene. Maybe, potentially, hopefully, probably not. But yeah, I'm going to say Vec here, but for storyline reasons, Roxanne would be better.
Yeah, Tears pretty much explained mine. Roxanne Perez, I've been thinking about that for a minute. Like, her and Liv at WrestleMania would write itself. You know, she replaced Liv, all that. It's just a classic story to go with.
Referee.
Mm.
With Thomas
Yeah,
the referee.
Yeah, that would be funny as hell if they did that. I mean, I just think that'd be perfect. You know, I could see the fan army. Oh, Roxanne just got there as well, but she's been fantastic. I mean, she's done. You know, it's not easy to fill a role, especially a Liv Morgan type of role, which Liv Morgan was just so great in that role. When you fill in, you kind of feel like, okay, I have to fill big shoes here, and she's done a perfectly good job at it. Her and Raquel work as a tag team. She's been good in Judgment Day. She's the future of that women's division. There's a lot of women you can make the argument for, but she's definitely. I think she's like 23 years old. She's very young, already having a lot of success. So great to see. And we'll have to see what they end up deciding to do. I do think the easy or safe choice that Triple H seems to want to do a lot of lately with safe choices would be Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. I can see him just going, you know what? We trust these women. We don't really know if we could trust Bakira Perez yet. Let's just go with one of these two women. I know the safe choices ain't always the best answers or the best, you know, solutions, but Triple H has been a very safe booker, so could be a possibility. Maybe there's a wild card we're not thinking about. I've heard some fans say Raquel Rodriguez should win the women's title. That would be interesting. I mean,
I'm still gonna say Kyrie for me for like being the wild card.
yeah, Kyrie would be fun. Asuka's been teased to have a feud with Io Sky. They could maybe do that.
That would be nice, but I would prefer if it was a guaranteed win for Asuka. And I feel like against Io Sky, it's not a guaranteed like dub in that feud.
Oh yeah, I can agree. Yeah, it's just good to see Asuka back. I've missed seeing her on WWE. Her and Kyrie both.
I did see on her
YouTube
channel she mentioned like her beef with Io Sky. I don't know if that was kayfabe, more than likely for their potential feud.
Yeah, because they've been mentioning like damage control and all that, so they're definitely setting something up there. A lot of choices. WWE's women's division, you know, I've enjoyed the women's division a lot more than the men's division just because there's so much talented women right now and different matches and different people you could push. And in the men's division, you look at that division, it's like they rely a lot of heavily on guys that are on top for so long. Like, you know, I mean, obviously Cena's retirement, though I can understand. We got Punk, you got Brock being back. Rollins is in his 40s now. Reigns is 40. Usos 40. I mean, you look at the Fatal 4-Way for the Clash in Paris, and all four of the guys in the main event are 40 and up. You don't really have a lot of young talent. I mean, they're trying to build up Braun Breaker, obviously, but who knows when he'll be at that moment yet. But it's like WWE's got to start pushing some younger men's wrestlers soon because you can't rely on these guys forever. And it's just like Brock being back just adds to them just relying on nostalgia a lot of the time. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the women's division, to me, is kicking ass right now, and they're going to continue to do that. And they got, you know, Sol Ruka in NXT. They got Jordan Grace, Blake Monroe. I mean, they got some women with a lot of talent coming up through the system right now. I mean, they're just going to keep producing them, and it's great to see. It's the strongest the women's division's ever been. So, any final thoughts y'all have before we wrap up this episode?
What's everybody's senses on how Tiffany Stratton's women's title reign has been going?
So, to me, they should have never turned her face because she's not a very good baby face to me. She's just that she's better as a heel, like that cocky Barbie. I'm prettier than you. I'm better. I'm more athletic than you. Now with her as a face, she doesn't really have a character to me. She's just kind of like, yeah, it's Tiffy time. What is it?
Better, yeah,
QJ
better here. That face,
Would
you
you
know.
say,
Not everybody
the
can
Charlotte feud did wind up screwing her over?
Yeah, you could make the argument.
Sorry,
Charlotte actually took a pin tonight. I don't know if y'all saw. She lost to Piper Nevin, which I was actually stunned to see that because Charlotte don't lose a lot, and for her to lose to Piper was
Very
actually kind of
shocked.
yeah. That is So to the last back, what do you think of Tiffy's title reign before we wrap up here? Do you have any thoughts?
I'm gonna say like the Charlotte feud did kind of mess her up with turning her face. Like, yeah, you kind of had to because you weren't gonna have anybody cheering for Charlotte at the time, but we got to turn her heel against somebody. Like, but who?
I don't know because I mean
Like
she's
who?
already feuded with Nia, she's feuded with Jade, Charlotte. Like SmackDown's women's division just sucks right now. Like they don't really have any big names for her to go against
Terrible.
currently.
Like,
Yeah,
Like who could we use to help make Tiffy relevant again? I guess because I feel like her title, like her matches haven't been bad. Her title reign, it's great that she has it, but at the same time, it's just like, what can you give her, really?
no.
You'd have to just do like a trade or a draft to get her some fresh opponents or something from Raw. I mean, that would probably be my recommendation because I mean the SmackDown. I mean they can't even book Julia right as a champion. They can't really book her. I mean the SmackDown women's division is just a complete mess. Like I know I keep saying that, but it's really bad. Like I don't know. They got to get a top baby face to kind of get her heel or something to kind of get shit switched up because I mean she's kind of just I don't know. I mean they've been saying they're going to do another draft, so we'll see. But man, I don't know. So that'll do it for this episode. Make sure to comment your thoughts. Do you think Jericho should return to WWE? Are you interested in seeing Del Rio back? Are you a fan of AAA and WWE working together? Do you like Matt Riddle and his comments on Punk? I'm sure a lot of y'all don't. I'm not going to disagree. And who do y'all think should be the next Women's World Champion and thoughts on Tiffy's reign? Let us know in the comments down below. As always, appreciate the support. Peace.
Bye.